Hey everyone, and welcome to today's workout. Today we are going to be doing a full body express workout. So working the whole body head to toe, and we're gonna try to get it done in less than 30 minutes. So let's go ahead and get started. We're gonna start with our abs today. So let's go ahead and lay down on your mat. Arms are gonna be long by our sides to start. Let's go ahead and bring those legs to tabletop. So we have the hips at 90, knees at 90, those toes are pointed and the legs are glued together. Hands are gonna go behind the head, and we're just gonna start with some abdominal crunches here. So take an inhale through your nose. On your exhale, tuck your chin to your chest, lift your head, neck, and shoulders. Find that gaze to your belly button. And inhale, lower back down. Exhale, lift. And inhale, lower. We're just gonna continue with this motion here. So focusing on the whole powerhouse. We're using the upper abdominals to lift the head, neck, and shoulders. We're keeping the elbows wide, keeping the whole spine imprinted on the mat behind you. So really try to pull that low belly in. Perfect. Inner thighs stay pressed together. Exhale, lift. And inhale, lower. Continuing here for 10 more. Trying to continue the movement with the breath. Firing up those abdominals here. You guys got it. For 5, 4, 3, 2. On this last one, we're gonna lift and hold. From here, you're gonna lengthen your right leg out long, then pull it back to tabletop. Left leg lengthens and pull it back to tabletop. So just continuing with that movement. It's a reach and a pull with each leg. So as you reach, we're thinking about length in the leg. As you pull it back in, that low belly, those low abs are pulling the knee back in. Perfect. So focusing on the stability in the powerhouse, we want to keep the hips and pelvis super still as we do that. Keep the front ribs closed and the spines imprinted. So if you feel that lower back start to lift up off the mat, we just want to lift that straight leg a little higher rather than straight out. The lower you lengthen that leg, the more work. The higher you lengthen the leg, the more control. Perfect. We're going to stay lifted in that upper body, head, neck, and shoulders. But of course, if you need to, you can always lower the head, neck, and shoulders back down. We're going to stay here for 10 more. Abs stay pulled in, hips are still. For 8, slow and controlled here. For 7, 6, elbows wide. Try to lift the head, neck, and shoulders a little higher. For 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Perfect. Each side. Then from here, try to keep the head, neck, and shoulders lifted. We're gonna bring the heels together, toes apart, feet are gonna flex. So let those knees open the width of your shoulders. From here, we're adding on our frog extensions. So you're gonna lengthen the legs out long, reach those toes straight, then pull the knees back in, let them open the width of the shoulders. Inhale, legs lengthen, exhale, pull in. So you should feel those low abs engage a little deeper here. Try to keep the head, neck, and shoulders lifted. But if you need a little reset, lower down, get right back into it. Inhale to lengthen, and exhale, pull in for 8, 7, 6. It's a flex to pull in and point to reach. For 4, for 3, 2 more. You got it. On this last one, we're going to reach the legs long and hold. Tiny little crisscrosses here. Straight legs, pointed toes for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bend those knees in. Hands come to the tops of the knees. Lower the head, neck, and shoulders down, and just rock from side to side here for a quick little reset. From here, bring those feet back down to the ground. We're going to get into the obliques next. So keeping the legs together, let's start with dropping those knees to the left. Then from here, hands come back behind the head. We're letting those hips just slightly shift to the left. And then we're adding on our oblique crunch here. So lifting bottom rib towards the hip. Take an inhale. On your exhale, lift, crunch, and lower. So shoulders stay square to the ceiling. It's a lift crunch. lift, crunch. Those abs are already a little fired up, so we should feel those obliques pretty quickly here. Perfect. Bottom rib to hip bone. For 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. On this last one, we're going to lift and hold. I want you to separate your knees, lift your top knee up. From here, we're going to pull the knee in towards the shoulder and release. Pull knee to shoulder and release. So find that little tiny crunch, shoulder towards knee and hip. In, in, in. So finding that nice little oblique crunch, a little deeper, tiny pulses here for 10, 9, 8, cinching that waist in for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one, and then lower everything down. Whew, and take a breath. Let it relax. We're going to swivel those knees to the left side now. Same thing, opposite side. Hands behind the head, elbows wide. Big inhale. Exhale, lift, crunch, and lower down. Exhale, lift, crunch, and lower down. Perfect. Good job, guys. So bottom rib to hip bone. For 8, try to lift those head, neck, and shoulders a little higher each time. For 5, 4, 3, 2 more. On this last one, you're going to lift and hold. Lift that top knee, twist it in, keep those hips stacked. From here, you're pulling knee to shoulder, knee to shoulder. So crunching in on that side, crunch, crunch. So finding that nice little side bend to lift for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Keep the belly pulled in for 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one, and then lower down and let it rest. Last thing here, laying on our back for our abs. Let's come back to center. Arms are long by your sides. You're going to bring your legs to tabletop. From here, we're just going to get into a few hip lifts. So from those low abdominal muscles, I want you to press your arms, press your palms and your forearms into the mat. You're going to press, squeeze, lift those hips up and lower down. So legs are together, inner thighs squeeze together, lift and lower. Scoop, lift and lower. So we're pressing the lower lumbar spine into the mat. Palms press into the mat, scoop, lift. If you want a little bit more work here, you can always extend those legs long to the ceiling. Straight legs, pointed toes, scoop, lift, for 8, 7, 6, 5 more, and then we have tiny little pulses. So 4, 3, 2, last one, lift, pulse it up, up, up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bend it in. Bring those hands to the top of your knees and just rock from side to side. Awesome. From here, let's rock and roll on up to a seated position. Keeping it going here for our express workout, we're going to come to our knees now and go into some modified push-ups for our upper body. So hands come to your mat. From here, we're going to press those hips forward, let those hips lower down, the toes and feet go towards the ceiling. If you'd like to do your push-ups with your legs lengthened long out behind you, you can go ahead, or modified here on our knees. So you're going to widen your palm print just outside the width of your shoulders. We're staying here for 30 seconds, guys, here. So elbows are going to go out, let that chest lower down, and press back up. Lower down and press. So abs are pulled in. We're lowering down with control and lifting back up. Good job. Keep those glutes squeezed, tails tucked under slightly. Belly's pulled in. Then we have our hold and our little pulses, okay? So we've got 10 more seconds here. Good job. Inhale to lower and exhale to lift. Keep those shoulders pulled down away from the ears. We've got 5 more seconds for 4, 3, 2. On this last one, we're going to lower halfway and hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Tiny pulses here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Press all the way up. You can widen your knees on your mat, sit back to your heels, lengthen those arms long in front of you for a quick reset stretch. Perfect. Then coming back up to all fours, we're going to do our knee hover plank next. So you're going to tuck your toes underneath your feet behind you. Wrists and hands are right underneath the shoulders. From here, shoulders are down away from the ears. You're just going to press into those toes, press into those palms, lift those knees to a hover, and lower them down to tap. Lift to hover, lower to tap. Lift and lower. Perfect. So you should feel those low abdominal muscles kick in here. We want to keep the lats pulling towards the hips. Keep the front ribs closed. Energy reaching through the crown of the head. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. So low bellies, lifting those knees. For 4, 3, 2, last one. Then lower those knees down. From here, last thing on our palms. You can stay up on your forearms if you'd like, or down on your forearms if you'd like, or up on your palms. From here, we're gonna lengthen the legs out long behind you, come up to your high plank. From here, you're gonna lower your right knee to tap, then lengthen that right leg out long. Left knee taps, press it back out. Right knee, tap, press it back out, left knee, and tap. So hips stay still, or as still as you can. We're pressing the palms into the mat, keeping those shoulders down. Beautiful job, guys. Staying here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Beautiful job. 5 more. Stick with me, guys. 4 more. 3 more, and then we're getting off those wrists. For 2. Last one. And then lower those knees down. Widen your knees. Sit back to your heels and lengthen your arms long in front of you. Perfect. Then from here, rolling back onto your back, we're going to get into those glutes next. So laying down, all the way down on your back. We're getting into our bridge work. So with the feet planted on the floor, knees are bent, arms are out by your sides, palms are down. Scooch those heels in towards your seat. We're gonna take an inhale through the nose. On your exhale, you're gonna slowly roll the spine to lift those hips all the way up. And then inhale, roll back down. So it's a slow and controlled movement here. We're keeping the front ribs closed, using those abdominal muscles to help you articulate the spine as you lift the hips. And then roll back down. Beautiful job. Trying to control the breath and the movement. Keeping that collarbone wide. Abs pulled in. If you want a little extra work, you can always rock back to those heels. Lift those toes towards the ceiling. I'm going to keep my feet down for today. Perfect. We've got 4 more here. So it's a slow, slow, slow and controlled movement. Rolling down 1 vertebrae at a time. 3 more. Squeezing the glutes at the top of your range of motion. For 2. Last one. We're gonna lift those hips high and hold them there. From here, I want you to just lower those hips just a tiny, tiny bit, so even less than an inch. From here, we're gonna work into our pelvic tilts with the hips lifted. So I want you to scoop the hips and pelvis under, pull those bottom ribs towards your hips, and then release back to a neutral position. So glute squeeze, hips pull forward, and then rock back to neutral. So keep those hips lifted, just working into that pelvic tilt. So finding that deep squeeze through the glutes, and even feeling into those hamstrings a little bit too. So it's a pelvic tilt forward, rock back to neutral. Squeeze forward, release. Squeeze forward, release. If you're finding any tension in your lower back, just lower those hips a little bit more, closer to the ground. For 10, squeeze, tilt, squeeze. For 8, finding those glutes, finding those hamstrings, belly's pulled in, front ribs are closed. For 4, for 3, for 2. Last one. Then rocking the hips back to a neutral position. Those glutes are still engaged, so the hips are all the way up. I want you to scooch those heels in a little bit closer so your ankles and your feet are right underneath the knees. Then we're gonna lift up to those tippy toes, so lift those heels super high. Calves are engaged now, right? From here, we're gonna lower those heels, lift the heels. Lower the heels, lift the heels. So try to keep your hips lifted the whole time during this series, but if you need to rest them, you can always lower them down. For 8, for 7, heels lower, heels lift. Heels lower, heels lift. For 5, 4 more, 3 more. On this last one, right here, we're gonna lift those heels high and hold them there. From here, now we're getting into a little pelvic tilt from side to side. So lowering that right hip down, squeeze that right glute, lift back up center. Left hip lowers, squeeze that left glute, lift up center. Beautiful. Right hip, squeeze, lift. Left hip, squeeze, lift. If it's too much for those hamstrings up on those tippy toes, you can always lower the feet back to a flat position. We're going for 8, 7. Find that each individual glute. For 6. Keep that belly pulled in. Again, if you need to lower those hips a little bit for the lower back, make sure you're protecting the lower back. For 5. 4 more. Beautiful job. 3 more. Each side. 2 more. Good job. Last one, each side. Perfect. Lift those hips all the way high. From here, lower those heels down. Take an inhale. On your exhale, roll the spine back down, 1 vertebra at a time. If you need a quick reset for the back, just rock those knees from side to side. We have 1 more set to go here with our bridge work. So knees stay bent, feet stay planted on the floor. This time we're going into single leg bridge work. So if you need to, you can always just keep your feet down, both feet down, and just lower and lift the hips an inch through this next series. Otherwise, take an inhale through your nose. On your exhale, you're gonna roll up to lift all the way up. From here, weight's gonna go to the left side of the body. Your right leg is gonna lift up to tabletop. And then from here, gonna keep that same shape in the leg. Lower the toe to tap, and then lift it back up to tabletop. Lower to tap, and lift it back up. So the goal here is, even though that right leg is moving, the left glute, the left hamstring, mostly the glute, is keeping the hips all the way lifted and keeping them still in space. Abs are pulled in. For 6, 5, 4, 3 more, 2, last one. Lower the toe to tap, lift the leg back to tabletop. Hold here, level those hips out. From the left glute, lower the hips an inch, squeeze, lift an inch. Lower, squeeze, lift. Lower, squeeze, lift. So focusing more on the squeeze, lift than the lower. We're finding that left cheek, right? For 5, 4, 3, 2, lift, hold. Right foot comes back to the mat. Level your hips out. Find your alignment. Weight's gonna go back to that right side, or go to the right side of the body now. Left leg is gonna lift to tabletop. Keep that same shape in the leg. Lower to tap and lift. Lower to tap and lift. Beautiful. So now we're working into that right glute. For 6, remembering that hip and pelvic stability. For 4, 3, 2, last one. Lower to tap, lift the left leg back to tabletop. Level those hips out. From here, lower the hips an inch, squeeze that right glute, lift an inch. Lower, squeeze, lift. Lower, squeeze, lift. For 6, 5, 4, we're almost done, guys. For 3, 2, last one. Lift, hold. Left foot comes back to the mat, level the hips out. Take your inhale. On your exhale, roll down, 1 vertebra at a time. Awesome. Pulling those knees into your chest. Just rock from side to side. Let that back reset. And then from here, we're gonna rock and roll on up to a seated position again, coming onto our side for our first set of side planks. So we're gonna stay on our knees today for our side planks because we're gonna be doing some hip dips. So we have an imaginary line down the center of our mat. I want you to align both knees with that line, and then when you come down to your forearm, we're putting that elbow on that center line as well. From here, you're gonna press those hips up. We're lifting up into our side plank position here. From here, that top hand can go up to the ceiling or stay on your hip if you'd like. From here, we're gonna start with just tiny little pulses. So lower the hips an inch, squeeze the obliques, lift the hips an inch. So what I want you to think about is the movement's not just coming from the hips, it's coming from those obliques. So working that side body to squeeze, lift, squeeze, lift. We're starting with the pulses here because I really want you to find those obliques and get that side body working. For 10, 9, 8 more, and then we're gonna go into our full range of motion. For 5, 4, 3, 2, lift, hold. From here, we're gonna lower that right hip all the way down to the mat, tap the mat, squeeze that right oblique, lift the hip all the way back up. So I want you to rainbow that side body away from the floor. Lower, tap, squeeze, lift. So if it's more comfortable, you can have your hand on your hip or keep it up to the ceiling. So it's a lower, squeeze, lift. Lower, squeeze, lift. So find that little extra range of motion. We're pressing into the forearm, squeezing that side body to lift. You got it. For 5. I'm finding my obliques. I hope you are too. For 4, this is really going to cinch in that waist and give you that nice shape through the side of the body. For 2, and then we have little pulses coming up all the way to your highest range of motion. Tiny pulses here, up, up. Remember, of course, we feel that side legs, side glute, but I want you to keep the movement, try to keep that connection with those obliques. For 6, for 5, for 4, for 3, 2, lift, hold, whew, and lower down. Let it rest. We're gonna go to the opposite side in just a second, but just giving those obliques a rest. Let's rotate onto all fours. We're gonna stay on the right side, so working our right glute, right leg. Next, we have the hands and palms underneath the shoulders. Knees are underneath the hips. We're gonna lift that right leg up, so square the hips off. I want your right foot flexed, and we have a 90-degree bend in the knee. That heel is pointed towards the ceiling. From here, just tiny little pulses, up, up, up. So the foot stays super flexed. Try to keep those hips square if you can. If it's too much on your hands, on your wrists, you can always come down to those forearms. I'm gonna go down to my forearms today just because I feel like I get a little better range of motion. We're just pulsing here, again, for the same reason. Since this is an express series, I want you to fire up those muscles a little quicker. So starting with the pulses helps with that. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, lift, hold. Lengthen that leg long behind you. Straighten the leg, point the toe, square those hips off. From here, you're gonna lower that right toe to tap the floor. Squeeze, lift that leg all the way back up high. So find that high range of motion, squeeze the glute. Lower to tap, squeeze, lift. Lower to tap, squeeze, lift. Beautiful. So keeping a good amount of weight through both sides of the body to try to keep those hips square. Abs are pulled in. We're staying here for 10 more. I want you to think about lengthen the leg so that toe stays pointed, the leg stays straight. You've got 6 more here. Find that nice little squeeze. For 5, for 4, 3, 2, on this last one, we're gonna lift and hold, tiny pulses here, up and down an inch. Beautiful, abs stay pulled in, navel to spine. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. From here, we're going right into a second set of the same thing. So bend the knee, flex the foot, heel to the ceiling, and pulse, pulse, pulse. Awesome. So we're feeling that glute, feeling that hamstring. Keep those hips square. Going through the same movements we just did, just a second set here. Express series for 10, 9, 8, 7. Try to stick with me the whole time. Don't put that leg down if you don't need to. Just breathe through it. For 3, 2, Last one, lengthen the leg out, point the toe, shift those hips if you need to. Lower to tap, squeeze, lift. Lower to tap, squeeze, lift. Beautiful. For 8, 7, 6, 5, 4 more, 3, 2, last one, lift, hold, pulse it out here, up and down an inch. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Pull that knee all the way in and let it relax. Just shift your body a little bit here, finding your alignment. We're going straight to that left side now. So left leg is going to lift. The knee's bent at 90, the foot is flexed. From here, just starting those pulses, keeping those hips square. We want to find that mind-body connection. So making the movement come from the glute, from the hamstring, abs pulled in. Perfect. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, lift, hold. Lengthen the leg long out behind you. Adjust those hips, point the toe. From here, lower to tap, squeeze, lift. Lower to tap, squeeze, lift. So keeping that movement in the glute. When you let it change from where it's supposed to come from, that's when those hips start to pop open like that. So I want you to focus really hard on keeping the abs pulled in. Movement stays in that glute. For 6. And then we have those little pulses. We're almost done, guys. For 4. For 3. 2. On this last one, we're going to lift and hold. Pulse, pulse, pulse. You got it. Think about lengthen the leg. Keep those hips square. For 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Keeping that leg lifted. Bend the knee. Flex the foot. Heel is to the ceiling. Second set here. Pulse, pulse, pulse. So try to not arch into that low back. We're just going to get through this last set and then we're done. So reminding you of those alignment things because I know your body's getting tired. Abs are pulled in. Press that left hip down. For 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Lift, hold. Lengthen the left leg. Straighten the leg, point the toe. Lower to tap. Squeeze, lift. Lower to tap. Squeeze, lift. Beautiful. Focusing on that length in the leg. Breathing through the shake here. I know the shoulders are working as well. We're almost done. For 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one, lift, hold. Now pulse it out. Lengthen the leg, energy through that big toe, belly pulled in. For 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Whoo! Bend it in. Widen your knees on your mat. Sit back to your heels. Lengthen your arms long in front of you for a quick rest, stretch, and reset here. Awesome. Last thing, almost last thing. 2 more things for you guys. We're coming to our side plank on that left side. So remember, knees are stacked. And on that imaginary line through the middle of your mat, elbows on that same line. From here, coming up into our side plank first. Top arm goes up to the ceiling. Neck and head are in line with the spine. From here, just starting those little tiny pulses. Up, up, up. Squeeze, lift. Squeeze, lift. Movement coming from that side body. Beautiful. For 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Now going into that full range of motion. We're lowering down. The hip taps the floor. Then squeeze, rainbow that side body up and away from the floor. Lower to tap, squeeze, lift. So you saw me do a little adjustment there. You want to make sure to protect that shoulder. So keep that elbow right underneath the shoulder. Squeeze, lift. Squeeze, lift. So we're rainbowing up and away. Finding that side body. For 6. For 5. Squeeze, lift. For 4. 3 more. 2. Try to lift the hips up just a little bit higher each time. On this last one, lift, hold. Now pulse, pulse, pulse. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower all the way down, and that set is done. From here, last thing, just to finish out our Express series, we're gonna do a 45-second plank. So on your hands or on your forearms, whichever is more comfortable for you, we're gonna lengthen those legs long behind you. Legs are together, your tail's tucked under, heels are flexed towards the back edge of your mat, shoulders are down away from the ears, glutes are squeezing, abs are pulled in. We're just holding here. So take a minute here, or 45 seconds, less than 45 seconds now. Just check in with your body, see how you feel after this time, after this hard work you've done. We're strong in our plank, those glutes are engaged, and we're breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. You guys did awesome. Hang with me here for 10, 9, 8, scoop that belly in a little deeper for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. Just lowering down to those knees. Let's just take a quick cat-cow stretch to finish out this nice little workout here. So palms are down, knees are underneath those hips. Take an inhale through your nose. On your exhale, press the floor away, pull the belly in, round your spine to the ceiling. Inhale, eyes, nose, chin, chest lifts. Try to keep those wrinkles out of the back of the neck, just stretching through the back. Exhale, rounding the spine. And inhaling to lengthen those abdominals as you stretch the opposite way. One more deep breath here. And looking all the way up, stretching through the back. Coming back to a neutral spine and back to a seated position. You guys are all done for today. So thanks so much for spending time with me. We got a full body workout today in a very quick amount of time. So thank you so much, and I will see you guys next time.